So 3 Mile Radius is a social art project. It's working collaboratively with other people who we've invited to join us. It's about place, it's about where we are here and exploring other people and our experience of journeys and travel through sound and also visual art. It involved a series of 7 workshops with working with other people, going on a series of journeys where the participants recorded what they heard and recorded what they saw, and we had conversations about that.
And then it's our response to that process. As artists, how are we going to respond to that and use that material that we've collected? Influenced by the experience of working with that group of people, what's important to them, what they've shown us. And also what creatively is of interest to us out of that. So at the moment we're in this process of exploring. Our thoughts are that we'll create a sound and visual installation using the sounds that we've recorded, but also the visual images, the stills, but we've also got a lot of video images, and so it's going to be a combination of those elements.
And we want to convey to an audience a kind of aesthetic experience of what it was like going on journeys with people and sharing what we've discovered about that.
We thought we'd go into town, Stourbridge, because I'm not from Stourbridge, so the thing that stands out about Stourbridge town centre to me is the ring road.
Yeah.
It's somewhere we're familiar with, but also we'll do it in a way that we don't normally do. Yeah. So we can go into town on the bus and do that and walk back.
And
or
to walk back.
Yeah, or we can walk and then catch the bus back.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And we thought we would walk down the canal.
Oh, that way.
Because that's nice and flat. Yeah.
Flat, and you can walk along the canal to the glasshouse.
Yeah, that's
Will you manage it?
Yeah, I'll have a go. Yeah.
Well, you did really well last time, didn't you, Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah. And Andrew, you did a lot of the recording, didn't you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Did you?
Yes.
We should do radio work, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I'd like to do more radio work, but it's just finding the radio work out there. Really.
Yeah.
So what is it that you liked about doing a recording?
I just liked being in charge of the microphone and hearing what people had to say.
So the starting point often for visual artwork for me is maps, particularly if it's a project about place. So I ordered this map from OS, but you can actually get them customised now, so you can pinpoint a particular area in the centre of the map and then get it printed with that as its centre, and then you can have text put on it as well, so that says 3 Mile Radius, exploring place through sound. So the centre point of this map, this sheet, is here, which is there. That's where we are now. And then this circle is the 3 Mile Radius, so this is the edge of the 3 miles. So some of the walks that we did, we deliberately, or one particular walk, we decided we wanted to be specifically at the edge of that map. But visually, I quite like the circular map. Do you have to practice new journeys?
I can't go because I'm not very places on my own because I'm not very good at reading.
Oh, right.
So often I have.
So I come to it. So I'm a sort of
So you go together.
navigator.
Oh, he's quite good and he can read a map. I can't.
Can you?
Yeah.
Ooh, so you're the map reading navigator.
You've done it with Keith when we've been out once.
Yeah. Right, shall we go then?
Yeah.
So, should we just, so everybody's get the coats on and you're all wrapped up. Yeah. This has got a handle. It's a special handle, and if you look at it, it's suspended. So that's so you don't touch that.
Right.
So if you touch that, can you hear that?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this locality and its history and all the things that interest me in a very close area to where I live and work. And that's where the 3 mile radius idea came from, was that if we put a pin in a map here and draw a 3 mile radius on that map, how much stuff is there within that geographical location? And actually, there's a lifetime's worth of stuff to work with from an artistic point of view. You know, particularly if you look at it geographically, geologically, historically, socially, there's so many aspects that could be explored in a relatively small area.
And that sort of links to the idea of how closely do you look at things.
Yeah.
And part of our work, well, a big part of our work and the work that we do with other people is about taking notice. So what we want to do is to work with people so that they can start to take notice of their environment, their lives, the things that they do, the places that they go in a different way, and just take more notice of it. And in the process, perhaps change their relationship to it, to people, to place, and think differently, but also get some sort of stimulation out of that, and perhaps develop interests that they already had, but perhaps didn't have the confidence always to follow.
Yeah.
And to show by example that the interest lies within you, not in the environment or the object, that you are the one that has the power, so to speak, to make things interesting.
And that links to the idea of a social art project, because that's what this is. The 3 mile radius is a social art project. We invite other people to participate in the project, to collaborate with us. Yes, we're the artists that kind of get things going, but we're not the sole authors of the work. We want people to do that with us collaboratively.
So listen to that engine.
That process of getting people together, working together, the conversations that we have, the interactions between people is the work, really. Yes, there is an output at the end and there's something to see and something to hear, but actually the process of spending time with people is what it's about, really.
Yeah, and that same principle of what is interesting about that, working with people, whoever they might be, and in whatever way, is to us as interesting as the place and the work that we're doing. And that is the work, as Helen says.
And we're particularly interested in working with people who have disabilities, because in our experience, they don't often get that opportunity to do this kind of work, to be involved in this kind of a project, to do something artistic. They're often excluded from that world, aren't they?
And there's a
and they have something to say. They have a lot to contribute.
Yes, and there's a sort of power in creative processes that people with disabilities often don't have the opportunity to explore. So often the people that we work with are people who are probably the least powerful person they know, and that they're acted upon by all sorts of agencies, organisations. And I suppose when they first come to us, we may be another one of those. And we have to work really hard to not be that agency, that organisation that acts upon people but acts with them. And that's a really difficult thing to do well.
And we reflect on that a lot. And we have moments of crisis and think, what's going on? We're not in control of this. It's not working in the way that we planned. It's not. But then we have to kind of stop and say, hang on, that's the reason why we're doing it.
Well, that's what's good about it as well. So that's what's difficult about it, but that's also what's really interesting.
Yeah.
And when we start a process, we don't know who we're going to be working with. We don't know exactly. We've got an idea of what the process might involve.
We don't know what they're going to bring or contribute.
No. So with 3 Mile Radius, we had a brief that said, we will go on journeys with people. We'll explore this place with them. And we had, I suppose, an idea in our head of how that might go. But we didn't know who those people were going to be, and we didn't know how they would respond. And in actual fact, it hasn't gone as we imagined it. And things never do they?
Yeah, you've got imagine.
That's it. Come here.
Should we go to the bus station and get the bus back? A lot of my artwork is focused on objects, found objects often. So we've been collecting objects that we found along the way, the broken record being one. There's some feathers. That was a sign that was nailed to a tree that was almost fallen to pieces, but we managed to bring that back with us. We found this little dog in a hedge just outside McDonald's, so he came with us. There's a stone and, interestingly, a shell that we found on the side of the canal. That was a key ring. That's some gobstoppers from a machine at Merry Hill. That was somebody's hairband that we found in a puddle. These are all Polaroid images that sort of document each walk that I'm collating at the moment, and that's just a sort of visual representation of some of the walks that we went on. So after we did the 7 sessions with the group, this has sort of led us to this point now where we've got all that material, we've got all the recordings they made, all the photographs and bits of video and objects that we also found. So my favourite of which is this. So in a hedge around Stourbridge Ring Road, we found a bit of a broken LP. So that's the black bit is the LP. The white bit is me having fixed it with a bit of cardboard. And it's actually, and this was in a hedge, and it's Christmas with the Stars, 1983 or something. We did a session about reimagining place. So we said to people, if we gave you a magic wand and you could change anything about any of the places that we've been, what would it be? And the kind of main theme that emerged from that was we want it to be greener, we want it to be a forest, we want it to be clean air. And that then, through that process of conversation and collage, drawing and collage, turned into a kind of rainforest in Stourbridge, which was great. But then it kind of went beyond the rainforest, and we had all sorts of strange animals.
Yes, can we have meerkats and all of that? So it became a sort of fantasy thing, which was great. But actually, that was a really interesting process because, I mean, the reason why we were thinking about that was because there is something about going out and recording and documenting a place and paying such close attention. And then you come back and you start listening to stuff and you'll there's a sort of dislocation. That you're listening to something that isn't happening now. You're not in that place. It plays tricks with your memory, the sequencing of events. You're not quite sure what that is. I can't remember that. So there's a whole process of. So then you to listen, and you kind of reimagine, and there's a process of reimagining that goes on. And so we wanted to explore that with the group, but without going through that kind of explanation. So what we did is we reimagined it based on. So we did a sort of sound and visual piece for them to introduce the idea, and that had a remarkable effect. So we got sounds from the ring road. And the sort of hostility and the loudness of the traffic, and then it transformed into a beach, which was Helen's kind of what I want is a beach in Stourbridge, and I wanted the ring road to become a canal.
With narrowboats going
with narrowboats. So it sort of over about a 5-minute period, it transformed from ring road into this sort of idyllic seaside.
So we made a little video of some images of Stourbridge Ring Road that then turned into a beach, and you did a sound thing that corresponded with that, and we played it to the group.
And it sort of faded to silence.
Yeah, it was only a couple of minutes.
It was about 5 minutes actually.
Was it?
Yeah.
The response, so everybody was chatty, and then they started to watch it, and then there was complete silence in the room for
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I mean, it was astonishing.
Everybody was really kind of, you could see by the look on their faces, they were kind of gone, they were somewhere else. And we were like, what's happening? We weren't expecting that at all.
It was really just to sort of illustrate the idea for the
project. Sort of modelling what we meant, but actually it really took them somewhere else. And we had to break the silence because we wanted to go and have lunch.